And welcome back. As we go ahead and continue working with Python, let's go ahead and take a moment to really examine some of those escape characters and also look at some things with concatenation now that we have a good understanding of things like strings and string methods. So first thing I want to do, of course, is get some input from the user, and we're going to use that to help us here. So let's just go ahead and have a variable. Let's just call this line, and we're going to set this, of course, not equals, sorry. We want to use the input command here, and we're just going to have that be a prompt, right? So please enter a line of text, and then we can, of course, let's say, get another input. So I'm going to have input equals input, please enter another line of text. And then let's also have a numeric value. So let's just say number is equal to, and this time let's make this one a float cast, and we're going to do input, and we'll say please enter a numeric value. And just for kicks, let's add in another number just so we can get those, and we'll do this one this time as an int, just so we have two different types to kind of look at here. Please enter a positive or negative integer. All right, so that's giving us some things to work with here. Now let's go ahead and work on the output section here. So what do we want to actually output here? Well, we can see we have a couple different variables to work with. So let's, of course, work with escape characters here to have that be rendered. Since we know we can use the print command to go ahead and generate that, let's start by saying print line, and we'll say plus input. And of course, this would then, in this case, put these on the same line. And then if we use escape characters, we should know that by now we can, of course, concatenate in. Let's use our quotes here to make sure we get our escape character for a new line and join that with input. This should put the strings, oh, forgot my hash here, put strings onto new lines. All right, I'm just actually going to change it to puts. There we go, just so that was a little more grammatically correct. And let's go ahead and do another print statement here, but this time let's use the tab command, just so we can separate it by a tab. So separated by a tab. And, oh, I accidentally bumped that key maybe a little bit more than I meant to. And let's just go ahead then and do a couple things with our numeric type. So let's just go ahead and see line plus number. And if you remember, when we do this, we are going to get an error because it's trying to do a numeric type with a string type. So we need to go ahead and make sure we do a cast of string around number here, because otherwise, again, it's going to give us that error there. Now, this, of course, will fix it right to the end of this. So whatever number will be right on the end there. So what we probably also want to do is join in just an empty space here, just to make sure we got a little bit of room there, unless we want that number to be smashed up right against that line of code. And lastly, let's just go ahead and print number plus another number, and just see what happens there. So this gives us some good code to kind of go ahead and test things out here. And you see I got a couple different escape characters. I'm using the new line. I have a tab. Let's just go ahead and, of course, we could put a slash in here if we want to. We'll do that one in just a second, but I want to see where we are at right now. So let me clear out this commands here from my previous run. And so if I run this, oh, we got an error here. All right, so let's just see. It says cannot and local variable input. So, oh, it's because input, of course, is the name of this command. So I needed to put this as maybe input line, just so that way that's a little bit different there. So let's change that to input line, because again, I made the mistake of calling that the same thing as my command. Easy mistake to make here when you're used to using one language over another. And so now we have the command, please enter a line of text. Okay, so let's just say hello world, enter. All right, please enter another word text. How about hello universe? All right, please enter a numeric value. Remember, this is our float. So I'm going to go ahead and say something like 3.5. And then a positive negative number, let's do -2. All right, and we got an error here. All right, so let's see what this error is so we can go ahead and see. Is this not only concatenate string to string? So let's see where it says line plus input. All right, so let's see where this is. Oh, it's because we forgot to fix this one to input line. An easy mistake. I can't believe I mixed that. Kind of embarrassing. Let's run that one more time then and go ahead and put those commands back in here. So hello world, hello universe, 3.5, and we said -2. All right, there we go. So now we got our commands here, and you can see we have our output. We've got hello world and hello universe joined together here because, again, we didn't put a space in there. We have hello world, hello universe now with a new line. We have it separated here by a tab. Here we have it joined with hello world 3.5. We have the value 1.5 right here, which, of course, you notice we didn't have to do any typecasting here, any coercion between that of an integer and a float because it recognized those are both numeric types and just did the conversion implicitly for us. Pretty cool. Now let's just go ahead and say we want to do one more. So I'm just going to add one more command in here, and let's just go ahead and hit print. I'm just going to have say outputting as a fraction. And so what I want to do is have this output, let's say, I want this to be number plus, and I'm going to do in here a slash because we want to do the slash escape character, and then we want this to be with another number. All right, and let's save that here. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, I have a quote here just floating around. Perfect. And then we want to, of course, I'm going to change that to then be just the print of this. So we want to say number over another number. So we can just say number divided by another number. All right, and of course we could make there could be some work that we can do here, but I just want to mostly just demonstrate this here. I know this won't actually come out as a decimal, or excuse me, it will come out as a decimal, not as a fraction. So it'd be more formatting and stuff I'd have to do, but right now I mostly just want to demonstrate what this slash is going to do. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put hello in here for both times just to speed this up here. Let's this time do a 6 and a -2, since I know that will give me a whole number here. And so now we got an error here, all right? So in here it says we forgot to string cast this. Again, something to always remember here when you're working with these different types. So I'm going to go ahead and string cast that. And one more time, let's go ahead and rerun that. Again, I'm going to use something simple here, so just say hello. We'll just do that twice. Let's do 6 and let's do -3 this time. And so we got -2.0. All right, and you can see here it says outputting as a fraction. It says 6.0 divided by -3. So that, of course, lets us see how that slash works. Pretty cool. Now, of course, this did not output as a fraction. It output it as a decimal, which means that we would have to do some problem solving as to how could we get this to output as a fraction. Again, I'm not going to show that here because at this point you should be able to figure out how can I actually finagle this to make it display as a fraction, particularly if I wanted it as a fraction in lowest terms. It wouldn't be entirely impossible to do because we could, of course, take this number, and since this one is 2.0, it's very easy to do because it's just 2 over 1. But what if we had something, let's say, like 2.5? What would that be? And again, this is something that we should know how to accomplish by now from our prior programming experience. But this, of course, is going to be a nice, good introduction for us using escape characters and concatenation just to produce some results. Again, I was just more doing this just for the output of, in fact, I can even take this line off since I'm not actually producing a fraction here, just to show how this slash works. And again, we saw previously there's a whole bunch of different commands of how to use escape characters, the different ones that are available in Python. And again, I just wanted to give you a couple of those examples in concatenation so you have a little bit more comfortableness when you're using them.